right, not only we got Greedon Masques today, but we also got the retrain of Harmonics Messiah for premium with more updated stuff. So let's begin. Alright, so first off we're gonna start with the Greedon stuff with Clunky Stroller. Grade 1, AK power and skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard, if you have a Greedon Vanguard, costs Soul Blast 1, choose a desired devil from your drop zone and put it to Soul, and this card gives us 5k power until end turn. This could definitely be nice, especially when there's a good number of desired devils that activate from Soul. And keep in mind about another thing, this is by card ability, so there are those activate by card ability type cards too. This is a pretty okay card, but not sure if you will have the room to use this. Next, Desired Devil Sashiyu. Grade 2, take power and skills. Count deck. If your Vanguard is Greedon, this card is treated as the same name of all cards that are Desired Devils in your soul. Yes, being treated as another copy of a Desired Devil from Soul. Some cards will require that, and in some cases, multiple copies of the same card in Soul, so this could be treated as another target. The only thing is, most of them are not really that great. And not only that, this doesn't have any other bonuses for being in Soul through this part, but the second skill might be okay, where count rearguard guardian, your soul has 3 or more desired devils. This card gives us 5k power and 5k shield on your opponent's turn 2. Yeah, not a really great card. It is nice that it could be treated as any desired devil that you have in Soul, being another target, but other than that, the 15k power 10k shield is just an okay part, especially since it's not hard to get the 3 in Soul, but it would have been nice if this card could be treated as another card from Soul and not just desired devil. And yes, this is count Soul as well, because of regular Greedon. Finally, to the Masked Greedon, I have a serious demonic Dragon King Greedon Masques. Grade 3, 13 power and skills. Count, this card can only be written on top of a grade 3 Greedon. It's basically the same as every masked unit, but the second skill is count Vanguard. The number of cards in your damage zone for you to lose becomes 7, just like the original, but except it has no restrictions. But in a way, you're basically going to be writing this on top of the regular Greedon, so technically it's kind of the same thing. But in a way, you could also make this one turn faster because of Mask of Hydrogram. Anyway, third skill, which is an added new type of skill where Act Vanguard. Once per turn, cost remove a Greedon from your hand, soul, or drop that has a different name. Look at top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 desired devil from among them, reveal it, put it to your hand, and force shove your deck. This is pretty nice to get some of your pluses, or not really a plus if you're losing a Greedon, from hand anyway, but overall it is a nice skill to have because a lot of desired devils is basically your main pieces. But anyway, to the third skill where Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, at the end of this card attacks, if your soul has 3 or more cards with desired devils, cost put 3 of your standing rearguards to soul and stand this unit, and this card gives us 5k power in the end turn. Alright, there are ups and downs to the original with this, but I say more upsides than anything. The one big downside compared to the original is that this is a once per turn compared to original, used as many times as you can. And the other downside is this one gains less power, but the trade-off is that it has no restriction on how many cards that you need to have in Soul. But you do have a restriction now where you need to have 3 desired devils in Soul, which is the very likely thing to happen anyway, so it's not much of a restriction. And the other upside is you just need to put 3 rearguards to Soul. There's no Soul Blast 2 to suck 4. That's actually even harder than doing this. This is actually more consistent, which is the main upside. And in many ways, this card actually allows your rearguards to be useful, and I mean in attack purposes, because the one thing that Greedon originally lacks is basically rearguard presence, so this being able to suck 1 less rearguard is definitely very helpful. Not only that, this one can search 1. And another important factor here, you suck in 3 rearguards, meaning they could be just the back row rearguards, giving you 2 front row extra attacks. So in a way, your trade-off of not doing the multiple restand Greedon, which is very gimmicky anyway, is getting 2 more extra attacks at least. But there's also some cards like Bubitsu which can call more stuff when it's sucked into Soul, meaning that you could actually get even more attacks than this. So overall, this is just more consistent Greedon. Too bad getting that Soul count is kind of pointless now though. And now to the history collection stuff. So first off, we got the new version or the retrain of Harmonics Messiah. Generic stride stats, except that it's 16k, generic stride steps, and it has this one continuous skill where count, you may only have 1 copy of this G unit in your deck. I mean, you're going to only run 1 anyway, especially for the next skills that will tell you why. So the first one is auto when placed on Vanguard, choose any number of your locked cards and unlock them, and then choose the same number of cards from your hand equal to the number of locked cards and discard them. This is just in case you're going up against the Link Joker matchup. And funny enough, this is Messiah, but not the Link Joker one, so yeah, it still fits the playstyle, funny enough. But the main skills are Auto Vanguard G-Zone. When this card is on your Vanguard or the beginning of your turn, while this card is face up in your G-Zone, and your damage zone has 2 or less cards, with no new cards put into the damage zone during your opponent's preceding turn, cost, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone to draw a card. This is a pretty important skill because basically your opponent can't damage deny you anymore. This will practically give you at least 1 counterblast per turn with an extra draw. 1 counterblast isn't guaranteed everything, but it is very nice that you do get that 1 counterblast since you could at least do something. And then finally, to the final skill where Auto G-Zone, when your grade 1 unit is placed by riding from a grade 0, if you went second, cost, reveal this card, put a Guardian Shield ticket to your hand. This is actually going to be really good, especially that the Guardian Shield ticket, which we're just going to reveal right now, has the skill of giving your Vanguard plus 20k power as a blitz order. So being a 20k shield practically. And on top of going second with Harmonics Messiah and your V series starter, you also get a quick shield, so that's a 25k shield total right there, and that's 2 cards in hand. That is actually pretty good going second. Sure, this is just premium, but this does really help out going second, because now your opponent will have to think that whether they choose to go first or second is better. Sometimes going first is still really powerful because you still go to grade 3 first, especially with the V series Vanguards where they have very powerful skills. But going second lets you stride, but sometimes that is just too slow because you can die during grade 2 turn, so it does make sense to have more defensive value, and I really like that they're doing more defensive stuff here. And also, I really like Harmonics Messiah's little design here where it's the start of the game compared to Gize where it's the end of the game. Nice polar opposites right there. Finally, the heal triggers that were the countercharge soul charge heals or the resource heal triggers, whatever they're called, they're all going to get errataed with the new stats, the 10k power and the 15k shield. Now this actually kind of makes it a little debate whether you want to use heal guardians or these resource heals. So that's it for these new reveals of the Greedon Masques along with the new version of Harmonics Messiah. What do you guys think of them? Greedon Masques, just more consistent, and there's ups and downs to the original, but overall more ups. New Harmonics Messiah is obviously going to be better than the original because the original is basically vanilla. But I really like the new Harmonics Messiah's theme where it's the start of the game compared to the polar opposite of Gize where it's the end of the game. And I really liked how useful it is for you to go second with this card. But other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.